Hello, dear friends. Today I would like to report about cybernetic power in the United States and the lack of this power in many other countries. The USA, as you know, can very quickly bomb into ashes any country, as Donald Reagan promised, and today President Trump is very close to the his promises to make peace on earth, having a very powerful structures, cybernetic structures. So I would like to report you on this point.
Day without the US fool with a checkbook I keep on tracking down since 2016. Many of Trump's plans and real steps into this sound sense or common sense revolution in out of the United States. Trump said, as he cut it off, the United States is not a fool with a checkbook for the sake of peace on earth. The National Security Strategy 2025 is designed for more than 4 years, and it relies on clever digitalization for the re-election of Trump 48 to guarantee huge investments from outside. Trump's critics inside and outside the United States do not believe that Trump has a powerful expert team with its ability to use generative AI, with support of the super artificial brain in the depth of U.S. intelligence community. The ideas used by Trump-45/47 came from the past and are coming for the future in elegant digitalized forms. I personally like the resuscitation of Zbigniew Brzezinski's idea of convergence, but digitally not to strengthen the chains of bureaucracy centrism, but the usage of generative AI in favor of non-centrism on the principles of the good old and good confederalism of the USA of the 18th century. The impetus for the United States' rejection of good old and good globalism was the rise of the PRC on the achievements of the digital revolution stolen from the United States and a number of other countries since the 2000s. Under the influence of the embezzlers, U.S. presidents before Trump-45/47 looked like a fool with a checkbook and senselessly climbed into all the traps of world civilizations. It was under Bush Jr. The Chinese have infiltrated many cybernetic databases in the US to aid blackmail, for example, VIP's personal data, up to their medical records. B. Saving R&D expenditures, I. Science and technology. C. In case of theft for resale to the British, for example, digital communications devices like G5 and other countries, including the Russian Federation. The practice of targeting v.ia.ps with their personal data stimulates the anti-hacker protection industry, which has reduced the competitiveness of stocks in the IT/AI business markets. And only Elon Musk, starting in 2023, brought generative AI or GAI into that market with its resistance to hacking. Now, Trump-47/48 has such a reliable foundation of GAI based on 1. Guaranteed protection of critically important digital bases or databases saved from hackers. 2. A fleet of quantum, high-speed computers for instant real-time processing of metadata. This has been called Q-Day, when Trump's opponents would experience a collapse of their entire digital communications complex, similar to how the US targeted Japanese communications during World War II. If China has an advantage in using AGI for military operations against the US, then a crypto strike is possible against all American and Allied ground forces, aircraft carriers, submarines, and even US Space Forces. This is why Trump is pushing for himself and Hagshake the right to conduct preemptive cyber operations without approval from regulators on Capitol Hill. There is an ongoing cleanup of Democrat revenges there. Trump is carrying this out under legalized freedom of action for the private sector and cybersecurity contracting, without legal pressure and without the earlier bribes of bipartisan bureaucrats. The 2025 National Security Strategy is based on the Hagshake principle: deter and defeat the enemy without the previous mandatory Senate approvals. Today, the United States can remotely push any country back into the Stone Age without kinetic wars like Russia's in Ukraine. However, China has its own quantum protection against a US quantum strike, while Russia and the EU do not. European states and Russia, with its CSTO, have militaries waiting for political approval to conduct cyber self-defense. Meanwhile, in China, after the arrest of about 50 generals in November, the military is firmly under Xi's digital heel. See, in my telegraphic style, how the US is moving toward Q-Day. 1. Leaks of personal data within the armed forces have already been prevented. 2. Leaks of scientific discoveries in R&D have been eliminated. 3. Hackers have no access to government officials' plans. 4. There is digital protection against blackmail and extortion. 5. Programs already exist for recruitment or cooperation under the Convergence initiative with Russia, similar to Zbig Brzezinski's approach to the USSR. It seems to me, but I might be mistaken. 6. Generative AI reduces the need for large numbers of human analysts for TRUPM-47/48. 7. Generative AI conducts monitoring and distributes its results via bots, not TV and radio channels with their talking heads. 8. Reservists and volunteers with GAI tools are preparing for Q-Day. 9. The essence of the preparation is a shift from past arrogance to empathy to former enemies. 10. The Convergence project of mind is rational, without the fanaticism of the Cold War or the complacency of Détente Perestroika inherited from US Democrats and renegade Republicans or so-called R.I.N.O. Vladimir Lukov, Ukraine.
All right. So I want to say one thing, that Ukraine is a very good test ground for the relationship of President Trump with his Senate, with the Capitol Hill, and AI guys uh, are on his side, to my mind. So please resend this video to others, and I would like to collect your um, recommendations, your questions, and many other things that could push forward our civil military counterterrorism activity. Bye bye.